Hello, welcome to Country Life Japan. Having just had a new double glazed window fitted in our kitchen, we were ready to begin tiling. Firstly, we needed to decide on the type of finish we wanted to achieve. Our tiles are 10mm thick, the sheathing board is 12mm thick, and the plyboard is also 12mm thick. That gave us a total of 34mm that we would need the frame to sit at under the window. With the frame set in place, we insulated and then needed to fit our plyboard to the top of the frame. We slid a length of trim under the window frame that would match the other trim going up the sides of the window. We also screwed the window frame into trim to give it a nice sealed finish. We then measured and cut our sheathing board, which has a more water-resistant properties to it, to back our tiles and adhesive. So, we fitted our base here. We've made sure that we've got a nice level on this up to our sill around the window. We've taped it off and this is now ready to be primed. So here we've got our lines where we think the tiles will go up to, and we've continued our line from the surface along. So all of this should be tiled going along all the way to our window over here. Likewise, we've got the same level up from the surface that is running across the window, across the wall, and it will come all the way across. And again, we've got our flat surface here, and we're aiming to finish it just on the other side of where our oven will be to here. So as our sealer, we use this product. With the walls primed the previous day, we're now ready to apply our adhesive for the tiles to sit on. We've also marked the walls to show where each course of tiles will go, and trying to ensure that they're central to where we want with the faucet and the window, and also making sure that any difficult cuts are thought about beforehand so that we don't have an awkward cut around a socket or a corner or something to do. When we begin tiling, we'll start at our center point behind the faucet and work our way outwards in both directions and upwards as we go. This is the tile adhesive that we are using. It's a white cement adhesive that we will mix with water, trying to get really a peanut butter consistency. When making a mix, add the water first and then the adhesive afterwards. Make sure that you're only using the recommended amount of water so you end up with the correct consistency. Really, it should look something like this. So applying the adhesive is actually more difficult than it looks. You're looking for an even, thin layer to be applied to the wall. But obviously with quite a thick consistency, it can stick to itself, and this causes areas to drop off the wall or to not be evenly covered. So it does take a bit of getting used to at first, just to use the trowel and find that correct consistency and spread. With the first few batches of adhesive, we needed to throw some away at the end because it was drying out more quickly than we were able to use it. So if you are looking to do some tiling,
I would highly recommend just mixing small batches so that you're able to minimize the waste, and this will allow you to increase the batch size as you get more used to applying the adhesive, and it becomes a smoother process.
So all of our adhesive behind the tiles seems to have set quite nicely. It's actually got a bit of a green colour to it since it's set. It's changed as the oxidization has happened to the adhesive. So what we'll do now is we're going to take out all of our spacers so that we can then wash or wipe the front of the tiles and get rid of all of this additional adhesive. And then we can also reuse the spacers when we want to. Okay. So let's get that.
After applying our first course of tiles and adhesive and wiping away any of the additional adhesive the next day, we discovered that some of the tiles were slightly loose and they were easy to pop off the wall. The reason for this is probably that there wasn't enough adhesive covering the back of the tile. To beat this, really you need to be certain you're applying enough adhesive so that you're getting the majority of the back of the tile covered. For the days when we were tiling, we focused on an area each day to apply our adhesive and tiles. We'd then come back to the area the following day when the adhesive had dried a bit and wipe it down, clean everything off, perhaps remove spacers if the adhesive had fully set, and just make sure that it was all clean, ready to move on to the next area to work on. Leaving the adhesive more than a day can result in it becoming too hard to remove easily. So we discovered that if we focused in on cleaning the tiles up the following day, it made this a lot quicker and easier to do. We wanted to use a trim for the underside of our tiles to give it a nice clean finish. So we placed some wood at the level that this would need to be, and we drilled holes in the trim to allow for adhesive to penetrate and be on both sides to make it effectively stick to the wall. We needed to cut round a plug socket to apply the tiles cleanly. So it was a difficult cut, so we decided to cut the tile in half firstly, and then be able to make the gap where the socket would go on both sides of the tile and cut these separately with an angle grinder. We used two types of edging for our tiles, one for the bottom and for the sides, a more solid metallic cleaner tile edging because it's more visible. So we were delighted to have all of our tiles finished and on the wall. We were really happy with how they look and how they've turned out, and the difference that they make to the look of the kitchen. So after all the tiles are on the wall, the next job will be to apply the grout. Before that, make sure that all of the adhesive showing is fully cleaned off. We then used a grout float to smooth the grout over the tiles and apply it to any of the crack lines. Again, we were working in sections, and so once the grout is applied to the cracks, it's important to get a bucket of water and a sponge and quickly be wiping all away the excess grout, making sure that you continuously keep filling the bucket with fresh, clean water as it gets dirty very quickly from all of the grout. So here's the finished product. The tiles are on the wall, the grout's applied, and we're really happy with how it looks. The grout is quite dark at this point as it's just been applied and is still quite wet, but once it's dried it will look like this, much lighter, and is a beige colour, which we're really happy with the overall look of our tiles. If you're looking to do a tiling job, we hope that some of the points raised in this video will be helpful. Thank you for watching. We'll update you with more projects in our next video. See you next time.